And then I saw another one, maybe it was that one, I just saw someone posted the other day that they're closing. I think it was the one in Rochester. The big one in Rochester is
Yeah,
closing.
that one's definitely closing. That one I don't think is a staffing issue. That one I think is a corporation, and they didn't want to pay their staff tried to unionize to get more pay, and
For the Finger Lakes.
Practice and open finals.
There she is.
Good morning.
To leave a little before 9:30.
Weird.
Or 9:30.
Alright, we're good.
That is a good mix up to have, but yeah, just something. We'll just fly through this.
Sorry.
Yep. Sorry.
Should have led with that.
Sorry, no, that's good.
Are we ready to start?
Yep, we're good.
Alright, we'll call the meeting to order for the Finger Lakes Horizon EDC and start with an introduction of guests. Mr. Jim Moon, Howard Hanna, and then we have Steve Meyer here in person and Russ Genzel on the line. Thanks for joining us, Steve and Russ, and of course Jim. The first item on the agenda is an executive session, and I do think we want to call for that and ask for a motion for that to discuss the particular financials of a company and a loan application.
So moved.
Tim and Sue. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. What we
nothing HR or person. Want to get us back into open session then, Mike?
Yep.
Move to come out of executive session.
Get us back on the live stream, and we are good.
Okay.
Okay, move to come out of executive session.
Okay, second Kim, thank you. We're back in open session. And our next agenda item is the review and approval of our meeting minutes from July 19th. They're included in our packets. Is there
Move to approve.
a motion? A second. Any further discussion?
There
No, Serena.
Okay.
Any further discussion or suggested changes or anything on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carried. We do have one change in the agenda, and that is to remove the pending loan application under the action items.
Did you want to add approval of the budget?
We can film.
Do them all together next time? Okay. So then we'll move into the finance report.
I have 4 checks today totaling $223,790. $123,790 is the half of the community benefit fund that we send to the 3 municipalities. This is the last year of that money. Last year that money comes in from the Empire Pipeline project.
That will hit,
Approve financial.
that will hit the municipal budgets for next year for the 3 towns, because it's a fair amount of money that goes to each of them. But that has run its course. And it will impact our budget too, because that's what not large, but is what funds Verizon Economic Development Center.
Yeah, so I guess with that, in the packet, there's a draft budget for this entity for next year.
And you'll see it doesn't include the community benefit fund in it.
Management's intent this time is to give us a look at all of them. If anybody had any questions on the budget, it's certainly open to ask at this meeting. Though it's possible, I guess, that there's some tweaks between now and the next meeting, but then at the next meeting, we'll have all the entities' budgets to then that we'll need to formally approve next time. Does anybody have any comments or questions on those? There's not a lot that goes on through here, but that is a big change with the benefit coming out. Okay, so then, so are there any other questions on that? Okay. I'd ask for a motion to accept the finance report and approve paying those specific checks.
So,
Thanks, Kim.
Second.
Second, Serene. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. And with that, it concludes our agenda. So we'll be meeting next month. And I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, Tim.
second.
Second, Kim. We are adjourned.
Please don't forget to identify yourself when you make the motion or second.
Okay, so it could be heard on the video.
No.
All right, so we'll call to order then the meeting for the Finger Lakes Economic Development Center here at 8:43. And our guests are the same. And do we need an executive session for this entity?
We do discuss the potential sale of property and employment history. How it goes.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Joey's.
Okay. Michael, let us know. Actually, I'd ask for that motion to enter executive session.
So,
Second.
Wait for Mike to Second to open, Mike?
It's quick. So we need the approvals.
When we get there, we can do it in reverse order or something too, if we need to. Those bottom three, I need to abstain.
And probably the top one.
Probably I don't need to.
Oh, right. But you can if you.
Yeah.
We're good.
Right.
Move to come out of executive session covered.
Thanks, Tim.
Seconded, Kim.
Seconded, Kim. Back in open session. Our next agenda item is the review and approval of our meeting minutes from August 16th.
Move to approve covered.
Thanks, Tim.
Seconded, Kim.
Seconded, Kim. Did anybody have any questions or any further discussion on the minutes?
This one's motion was me and not Serene.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carried. Do we have any additions, subtractions from the agenda?
Table the pending loan application. Applicant is revising his request based on some changes. We'll see that one next month.
Okay. Any other changes? Good, we'll move into the finance report.
Check number 6325 to 6352 and E137 and E140, they total $71,043.13, and check 101 from the money market for $20,000. That went into the checking to cover bills and payroll. I don't know if anybody had any questions on any of the financials.
So included in the packet are the profit and loss statement. There was one for just the month of August, and then there was the year-to-date and compared to the budget, as well as the balance sheet and the loan reports. And then the draft budget for the FLEDC is included in there. Because that'd be all up for, it's all fair game right now, as where we are on the agenda.
To approve the finance report covered.
All right, thank you, Tim.
Second.
Second, Mary Ann. All right. Any questions on any of the material or comments on the budget? The year-to-date profit and loss, it looks good compared to the budget. It's going along. Rents here in this facility are up nicely.
Yeah, we had quite a bit of activity with the leases, so we're filling back up pretty quickly there. Been able to increase rates a little bit, so that's helpful in the budget. Our budget in 2024, there is some play there that is under, if everybody renews, we will come in above that. So that's sort of internally how we give ourselves a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, anything in yellow on the budget, we're double verifying and just to make sure we get our.
And there isn't anything in there currently, although it looks like it's different. We didn't, from a budgeted 2023 to budgeted 2024 on salaries, that's flat right now. We didn't make any assumptions whatsoever there, so I'll need to get with the personnel committee here in the next 30, 60 days to figure out what, if any, sort of changes to that.
It didn't print, but 2023 is less due to paid family leave time off.
Yeah, I think it probably makes sense in the budget to include some amount of increase, that absolutely the personnel committee could get together before the end of the year to talk about increases, but unlikely to stay flat, I would say. So to include a budget that's approved in October that's flat, I think.
Personnel needs to be for
Well,
October or have a.
I think from the budget standpoint, putting in, you guys can give feedback with plugging in a 2-3%, so a little bit of a buffer, and then we're not that far behind on the budget, whether the increases end up at 2 or 4 or 5, that'll have to be a personnel committee discussion, but I think in the budget, it's unrealistic to think it's, unless you guys disagree.
No, I think it would be wise to have that talk.
Good.
Good.
Who is the personnel committee?
We,
Just for reference. Not objecting.
now that our qualifications have been challenged.
Just curious.
Okay, we have no, and one thing, we do have a review, CEO review document that we put together. We do need to circulate that to the full board, probably in October, and ask for them back in November, so that when the committee does meet, we have those feedback and review forms. And so that's something we'll be, just put a, kind of bug in your ear about that. But any other questions on the budget document? That will get refined and be before us next month for a full discussion and approval. And yeah. If there aren't any other comments or questions, then I ask for, I guess all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, carried. We'll move on with our status reports, the management reports that were in the packet.
No updates unless anyone has any questions.
I'll just say that the bridge dinner went, or community table dinner went really well despite the move off the bridge. Feedback's been incredibly positive. Anytime I'm out in the community, someone that was there, they pulled me aside and said, very well done, hard-working crew, and that they thought the event went on without a hitch.
Kind of like having it in communities.
Yeah, and hopefully it helps them
Yeah.
draw more attention to the field house project that they're doing there. And, it sounds like I don't have the final number yet, so I say this with a little bit of hesitation, but everything I've heard so far, it sounds like we should have raised as much as we did for the Sampson Theater last year, if not more this year for the community center. So hopefully I'll have that number here. We're gonna meet soon, and get them a check to help them keep moving forward.
Okay. Great, we asked these guys to hustle through the management reports so that we can move on to our action items when we have everybody here. So that's why they're short. There was a lot of activity, a lot of meetings. So the lack of narrative doesn't insinuate that there wasn't anything going on. Yeah, so I think with that, we'll move on to our action items, and I think we'll go a little bit out of order, but we'll start with number 1, and then move on to 5, 6, 7, and then come back to the list. There's a couple of things I have to say about 6, 7, 2.
So CD renewal, they're in your packet, sort of following our traditional course of action. Bank of Finger Lakes at 5.2% for a 3-month is the highest rate, relatively short period. So that would be what staff would recommend we go with. If there's any questions or comments or anything else?
And probably leave the money market at Five Star Bank because they offer the highest rate for that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yep.
Nope, that's okay.
Start with
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions or anything on that? The only thing I'll add on at some point in time, if rates do look like they're going to come down going longer on a CD, it would make sense. It's kind of anybody's guess on when that, trying to pick the high point is going to be, but that's something that's starting to come up in other investment type meetings or boards that are on, and the investment group is going a little longer when the rates start to come back down, as they're forecasted to do next year sometime, but not for necessarily this meeting, but sometime in the future. But, so we have a recommendation,
Do you think 3 months is too long?
I don't know. The Fed meets the concluded meeting today, and they're expected not to have any rate increases today.
Okay.
The market doesn't expect there to be any rate increases today, so the treasuries and these types of things aren't really expected to move much. It's already kind of priced in. If they came out with a surprise and did increase rates today, then I think you'd see things move because they'd be surprised,
Mhm.
but it's not expected today. They do have 2 more meetings, November and December. So
So we'd be ready basically at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I don't think this is
December,
Alright.
and drop.
I think-
Okay.
Right?
nobody's expecting the drop this year, but I'm just saying, at some point in time, that is expected to happen, and it's something that we should.
I was gonna say, by the
Okay.
next time, we should know more.
Fair enough.
So, we call for a motion to accept management's recommendation on the CD and money market.
So moved,
Mary Ann, seconded Kim. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And I will abstain. Okay, that's carried. It's all right. I'd like to move on to, well, maybe do the Frost Wines public hearing resolution next. It's item 6 as labeled on the agenda.
There's just, no, you guys will have to share these between the
They were emailed to you last night, but that was late,
project
so
summaries.
apologize for that.
Actually, there's for 2 projects here.
As that's being handed out, I'll just sort of,
There's another extra.
so, Frost Wines is the business that is Herman J. Weimer Winery Vineyards. Project is actually somewhat similar to the project we approved 2 months ago, maybe, or last month, with, Cuca Springs. So they are looking at construction of a press pad, extending their warehouse and tank storage. And the difference being a little bit here, they are also going to be renovating, pretty substantial renovation of a current portion of their facility. In total, they're projecting it to be about a $1.6 million project. We are looking to create 4 jobs, direct jobs, over the next 3 years. Plugging into Jobs EQ, it said it would create 1 additional indirect job and 1 induced job. The induced jobs are jobs that would be created at a local establishment to help as a sort of downstream impact of their growth. Indirect jobs are the suppliers of the project. So you go through the list. Again, this top page that you got, that's just what I kind of share with the company, so they can get an idea of what my inputs were, what the assumptions are, what the projections are. This set, the second page is what I normally supply to the board. It says all the same things, just adds 2 more elements to it. It gives you an idea of their salaries and benefits. So again, 1.6 million in total capital investment, 4 direct jobs, 7 total, 6 total. And then they had 2 different numbers in there. So 4 is the number, 4 direct and then 2 additional. So it should be 6, not 7 on this page. Let's see here, total property tax abatement. We're projecting to be basically 166,000. Sales tax savings of roughly 48,000, and a mortgage tax abatement of 15,000. So just shy of $230,000 in potential tax savings for them over a 15-year period, because it's a manufacturing process of which they're doing here. The total community benefit over that same period of time, when you count in their payroll, that 1.6 million, and the pilot payments they would make over that time is just shy of 8.3 million. So it's a 36-to-1 ratio. However, because it's going to be over $100,000 in benefits, we do have to schedule a public hearing before we can actually act on any of it. So this project, similar to the one we'll look at next, all we can do is seek approval from the board to schedule that public hearing. But open to any questions you have on this now. Regardless if you have them or not, we would then seek approval to schedule that public hearing.
Where will the public hearing be held?
It has to be held in the municipality.
So it'll be Starkey, town of Starkey.
Okay.
And I'd just like to disclose that the current banking relationship is with Lions National Bank, which is my employer, and as a loan officer, I work with them for my loan side of things, so I'll be abstaining from the votes. Any questions?
I did include their sort of building layout plan, which Steve, Mayor, and I had some fun trying to figure out as we're going through it. Like, can you read that number? What does that say? And then we got some additional insight from the company on what they're doing. It's pretty big, so it's 3,500 square feet of renovation to the current warehouse, and basically an addition of another 9,500 square feet of new building, of which 8,500, that's basically the new press pad and cooler. It's actually not air conditioned or anything. It's kind of just a shell, but you can see on this blueprint that kind of gives you an idea of what they're doing.
Good business.
I'm just curious, the Frost Lines, that's a name of a subsidiary?
It's
or-
not a subsidiary, it's
That's
that
the
big.
company.
Frost Lines is the parent.
Doing business as, but then it has the different brands.
Oh. Oh,
So if there aren't any questions, we need a motion to schedule that public hearing and adopt the initial resolution.
So moved. Coming.
Second, Kim.
All right, this will be a roll call vote. Does Doreen take us through that?
Yep. Brian?
Abstain?
Janice is absent. Serene?
yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Amy is absent.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. While you're doing pilots, do you want to just move to the next pilot?
The next one is what they're actually gonna eventually go forward. As you see, it listed as 3 different things.
I think we got it.
Does everybody have this next one?
Parkland.
You have it? Okay.
We need to share it down there, I guess. Again, this is in your, you will, if you, it was late, it is in your email if you wanna look back upon it after.
Right, here, it's 8.9, it's that one.
Yep.
So, Canandaigua Shores / Hamilton Street / Parkland Estates. Figure out what it actually goes through. That's Canandaigua Shores, I think is the name they applied under the application. This is the senior townhouse development. Same developer that did Cuca Shores, the one across from Red Jacket. They're looking at a 32 unit development, 8.9, basically $9 million total capital investment. I don't have it, the jobs that, again, if you look at, well, let me back up. If you look at the overview here, the site plan, it gives you an idea of what it is they're looking to do. Again, very, very similar. These will be 1-story units around kind of a circular drive. Senior level housing, 32 units, 8.9, basically $9 million in total construction cost. The jobs EQ said there'd be 4 basically supplier jobs created and 10 induced jobs during the construction phase of it. I didn't put any salaries associated whatsoever into that because it's a short period of time. I have no idea how we would track it. So even though it gave a metric within jobs EQ, I did not include it because I'm not sure, quite honestly, I believed it. Same sort of thing when you take a look at how much they'll pay in a pilot payment over the time and their company investment, not including any construction job salaries. You're looking at 9.366 million. And then the property tax abatement is forecast, this is a 10-year schedule. 100% break on the increased assessed value year 1, reducing 10% every year after on the increased value. The assessed values used, by the way, in that projection were used off the same ones that are basically Cuca Shores. It's going to be a very, very similar look and feel of that. So we're projecting roughly $460,000 in property tax savings, $300 in sales tax, and $68,500 in mortgage tax. So $827,000 roughly in total incentives. So 11-to-1. We'll address some of the housing shortages. Again, senior level housing, concept being, hopefully that frees up some units that, non-seniors workforce can move into. Yeah, we'll take some of the pressure off, maybe that supply a little bit. So same thing, over 100,000, we gotta have a public hearing. So all we can do here is seek approval for, approving this initial resolution, which allows us to schedule a public hearing.
Okay.
Where is it gonna
It's on Hamilton Street, so if you know where North Ave is.
It's kind of corner of Clinton and Hamilton.
Yeah.
North Ave.
Yeah, so you go up North Ave.
North Ave in Hamilton, where it goes into Blythe Street.
Yeah.
So like right here,
Oh, yeah.
the arc.
Clinton's one.
Past the arc.
Yeah.
You head up North Ave, you go up a pretty steep hill right at the end, and there's that weird sort of like three-way stop.
Yeah.
If you're heading towards Dresden, you turn left at that.
Yeah.
Section, it'll be just down the road a little ways.
First 100 yards, 200 yards of that road is Hamilton Street still before it turns into Blythe Street.
There were, by the way, be mindful of Kim's time, they've gone through, we're waiting on getting the negative deck, environmental review, negative declaration from the village, which was approved. We also, same thing from Starkey, we have that as well for Cross Wines. There was a lot of public comment on this project, when there usually is, when there's a fairly large housing unit development in there. Although a lot of it stemmed not necessarily anti-project, although there were some there. There was more concern of the road. So right where this goes, there's a dip in that road that a lot of the local neighbors says is dangerous, it's blind, you can't see it, and the current entrance and exit for this is sort of right at that spot. So there was a lot of concern, mainly over that, which the village heard and is, they took under advisement. It would, to fix it, they'd have to do a tremendous amount of earth movement and flattening out a hill. But, I'm sure, I would not be surprised if during our public hearing, which would be held at the village, that we would get some public comment for that one.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Is the village looking at some measures to mitigate?
They talked about some speed, they put up sign, they had talked anyways about some signage, both end, and I think looking at some, reducing the speed. Although again, the public comment from that was, unless you're gonna have police there around the clock, people aren't gonna follow it. They go flying down Flat Street, so.
Could you suggest a signal of some sort there?
Higher speed bumps or something?
Be a little flashing light.
No, it's actually really narrow. That's the concern. It's really narrow there.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or further discussion on this one? We're approving again the initial resolution, which allows for the public hearing, and then it'll come back at a subsequent meeting. So, Doreen?
Right.
No, I don't have to abstain. I say yes to this one. Sorry. Well,
Janice is absent. Doreen?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Marion?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
And Amy absent. Okay.
all right, if we could go through the next one, the Sandray Properties one. That one I'd like to abstain from.
Yeah, so Sandray Properties is a loan that we have outstanding. It was to assist the Blue Heron Bakery, which was a DRI award winner. So we did a bridge loan for Ray and Sandy Spencer. They've received their reimbursement from the state. The total project was reduced, so therefore the grant was reduced by the same percentage. So instead of paying a lump sum to pay off the full loan, they provided us the lump sum payment from the state. Have asked to schedule out the remaining balance of the loan to match. They have two loans. One was the bridge loan for the DRI award, and the other loan was for the second half, basically half of the project. So they've asked to term out the balance, which is $10,000, to match the same term or end date of the other loan, which is May of 2015. So we're just
2025.
May 15th of 2025. That's why I did that. Brought it to loan review committee, everyone was in favor, there was no issues there. Paid in full, May of 2025.
Okay. And that's
Move to approve.
The second. Kim, any further discussion or questions on that loan amendment? All right, this one is not a roll call, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? One, I abstain, and then any noes? That is carried. So, thanks for everybody's patience bouncing around on the agenda a little bit, maximize Kim's time here. If you
Sure, you good with the others?
are good with the others, if you need to, can you get that out?
Sorry.
No, thank you, thanks for being here.
Thanks,
Thank
Kim.
you. All right, so what we have left are there's 2 leases to renew, and that's items 3 and 4 on our original agenda. So I start with item 3 here, the Bainbridge LLC/Miracle Ear lease.
Miracle Ear had been sort of subleasing space from Dr. Shapiro's office in the front of the Seneca building, where church flooring is. They are asking to go a month lease in the same office that they've been in while they look for something more suitable for them. It would be Suite 150, so 192 square feet, and $400 month to month would be is the rent we're suggesting to them. That would include utilities, correct? Yeah, which includes utilities.
Okay, that's for a motion to approve the lease.
So moved, Kevin.
Any further discussion or questions on this one before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. And then lastly, the Catholic Charities lease renewal.
Catholic Charities of Steuben and Livingston County rent space from us, which probably sounds odd. But they rent the outer portion behind the building here. They have their own its own entrance on the back. It is currently, where is it, the square footage?
Yep.
2,385 square feet. And they have asked, they pay their own utilities if they could continue with what we've done in the past. It's a modest increase in their rent, 2% increase. So this would be a 2-year lease. Year 1 would be $1,520 a month. Year 2 would be $1,550 a month for that space. It's a fair lease, rent-wise and everything, and it does have its own access and everything, but it's on the back side of the building, so it's not the most. You're not going to get any real street value being back there. So it's lower than some of our office space rents, but not for what it is.
Okay, that's a good amount of square footage.
Yeah.
All right, that's for a motion. All right, Tim.
Second stream.
All right, second screen. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. And that concludes our action items for the day. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 18th, and that will be a full meeting, I would say. We have the budget adoptions, and I think these projects would be back.
It should be.
If the public hearings are successful and all that, these projects may be back. So block off, more than an hour of time, an hour and a half at least, I would think, for that. But with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Solar, what about solar projects? There was a couple that were sort of approved. What's the progress on those?
So there were solar projects approved last year, or possibly 21. There were a few in 21, maybe one at the beginning of 2022. They were fully approved and are under construction, if not active and live now. Are you asking about a specific property.
Yeah, was there one on the landfill in Potter, the former landfill? in Potter?
There were discussions on that. The county was in talks with the developer for those sites. The grid lines were full, so
Yeah.
they had not been able, they were working on trying to find a workaround. That's a capacity issue. Don't know where they stand currently, but we'll find out. Those would be good projects to bring solar to,
Yeah.
for that non-usable land. But there's nothing in the works right now.
And was there another one approved for the landfill down Torrey?
Same issue.
Same issue?
Yep.
Transmission line capacity.
Correct.
I think it's to Bend County, it's like 300 megawatts, 300 megawatts of, solar and wind power projects that are just sitting there because they can't get to there's no room on the grid to take it.
They're making the power and it's not being utilized.
Or it's approved and
I think they, no, I think, yeah, it's probably approved but not built yet. I can't believe they built it knowing they can't.
Right.
They can't connect anywhere. But
I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We went through a lot of stuff very quickly.
yeah.